Good morning and welcome to the FACCMN Friday morning virtual coffee and discussion. Welcome and thank you to the French young professionals who are co-hosting this program today and will share their experience with us. My name is Odile Edouard Young with the French-American Chamber of Commerce in Minnesota, also known as FACCMN. We are an independent, non-profit, non-governmental, membership-funded organization. It is my privilege to welcome Astrid, Camille, Julie, Julien, Johnny, Louis, and also Benjamin joining us from Chicago this morning. These young talents are here with the V.I.E program, Volontariat International en Entreprise, on a J1 visa sponsored by the FACC. For over 45 years, the FACC has been a trusted sponsor, accredited and mandated by the Department of State to administer the J1 visitor program, exchange visitor program. You may or may not already know that on March 31st of 2021, the Presidential Proclamation 10,052 expired. This proclamation was originally issued in June of 2020 and extended in January of 2021. It suspended the issuance of certain non-immigrant visas, including the J1 intern and trainee visa. While this is good news, it is only one step towards resuming the exchange visitor program. Until the Schengen travel restrictions are lifted, embassies will not resume routine visa services, and J1 visa applicants are still not able to get visa appointments. We are very hopeful, however, and we look forward to welcoming new young graduates and young professionals in the US soon. Given the large number of attendees today, Elizabeth Johnson and Alex Duval, both on the board of directors of the FACCMN, will moderate the discussion and bring your questions to the panelists. Please use the Q&A at the bottom of your screen to list your questions at any time during this program. Today's discussion is being recorded and will be posted on the FACCMN YouTube channel. Without further delay, I would like to invite the panelists to introduce themselves. Ladies first.
Yeah, I can go. So, good morning, everybody. I'm Camille. I'm French originally, and I've been in the US for 22 months now. It's my last month of V.I.E actually. And my professional mission is R&D engineer in the Saint-Gobain company, named Sage Glass, in the south of Minneapolis.
Thank you, Camille.
Hi, so my name is Astrid. I started my V.I.E with a training period in France in summer 2019. My title is Country Manager Junior for my French company, Olea Medical, which is part of the Canon Group. And here in the US, at my host company, Vital Images, still part of the Canon Group, kind of a sister company, they call me a United States Olea Medical representative. So basically, to tell you what we do, we develop software, healthcare software, helping for diagnosis. What I mostly focus on is cancers and strokes. And my goal, so the goal of the V.I.E and the position that I was offered was to facilitate the communication between the two continents, kind of being the bridge, and to provide the knowledge and the expertise of the French product in the US, both for the coworkers here and the customers. So that's me.
Julie?
Absolutely. So my name is Julie Garrett. I am a process engineer here at Sage, so a Saint-Gobain company located in Faribault. My area of expertise is called final test, and we are basically sort of automated quality control process. And so I've been working in synergy with both like the quality departments and the production departments to essentially make sure that we are only sending good product to the client. And this is my professional role. I've been in the US since December 2019, and I've been extended to, so I will be staying here till fall.
Thank you, Julie. Julien?
Yeah, sure. Good morning, everybody. My name is Julian. So I'm working for a French company that the main difference with my VIE and the other VIE is that my French company doesn't have a subsidiary, a seat here in the US. So I'm hosted in a company that do not have any relation with the company in France, but basically I have here a tutor that can help me to, that can supervise me in my work, but I'm the only one for that company here in the US at the moment. So the company is called Brazilec. So Brazilec is proposing servicing agricultural machinery dealership. So basically they repair and refurbish some electronic devices that goes on tractors, for instance. So, and my mission here is to try to support the customer that we have in the US, and in the meantime, trying to develop the business here in the US, and especially in the upper Midwest region. So, and I've been here in the US since January 2020, and I will remain until almost the end of the year 2021. So.
Merci, Julien. Thank you. Benjamin?
Yes. So hi, everyone. Thanks for having me today. So I'm Benjamin Doré. I'm currently doing a V.I.E as a Deputy Scientific Attaché for the French Embassy to the Midwest, and I'm located at the consulate in Chicago. And about my background, so I hold an engineering diploma. So this is a master's degree in agriculture, food sciences, and food industry and life sciences, sorry, from the École d'Ingénieurs de Purpan in Toulouse, France. And I have been here for a little more than a year, so since March 2020.
Merci, Benjamin. Johnny?
Yeah, good morning, everyone. So I'm Johnny Gauthier. I arrived in the same time than Benjamin, so 1st of March last year. I'm, as Camille said, I'm working with the same company than her. So we will see we are multiple VIEs there. So I'm working with at Saint-Gobain Sage Glass, and my area of expertise is more field data analysis of the product, how to improve our understanding of our product, which is smart windows that can clear and tint as we wish. Yeah.
Merci, Johnny. Thank you. Louis?
Hello, everybody. So my name is Louis. It's a great pleasure for me to be here with you. I'm French. I'm originally from Chantilly, a small town 50 miles away from the north of Paris. I work at Sage Glass, so the same company as Camille, Johnny, Julie, and Corentin, who is not here. I'm a control research engineer. And so my goal and my expertise is to improve the way of we control our product, so our smart glass, because so our glass are able to tint depending on the outside weather, and the way I mean, my expertise is to improve the way of we control our window.
Thank you very much, Louis. I appreciate it. Elizabeth, Alex, shall I give you the virtual floor? and I'll disappear. I'll be in the background. And for everybody, please use the Q&A at any time to ask your questions, and we will be monitoring. Bonjour Elisabeth, bonjour Alex.
Bonjour et merci. Thank you so much to be a part of this team. I think it's, just speaking from my part, it is quite an honor to view you all in bonne forme and good health at the end of such a trying year. And I think Alex and I are just really happy to have this opportunity for you to share your stories. So Alex.
Yeah, good morning. It's good to be here with everybody. My name is Alex Duval. I'm a member of the board of the Chamber. And yeah, it's great to have this conversation. I think we want to keep it as open of a discussion as we can. We have a couple thoughts on how to kind of kick things off, but we're hoping that the people attending this can ask questions, and this can be useful for folks in the future who want to understand the V.I.E program a little bit better, what the experience is like, and just kind of give an overview of what it's like from the first person perspective. So I think we can just probably get right into it. Elizabeth, did you have anything else you wanted to kind of add or maybe kick us off?
Sure, I'd be happy to. I think let's start at the very beginning. I think it'd be interesting for you to share how you found out about this program and what attracted you to apply for this and come to Minnesota.
And anybody just jump in. We can go randomly, alphabetically. We can put you on the spot, but initiative is always good. So whoever wants to just get into it, and maybe also say where you're from in France. So I think it'd be interesting for folks to know.
I can go ahead. So where I come from in France, I come from Amiens, which is in Picardy. So about an hour and a half away from Paris, north of Paris, I would say. So what drew me towards this program was really my desire to work abroad. So I've had a little bit of experience living abroad. During the course of my studies, I spent 6 months in Australia. And I've been knowing since high school that I wanted to have a work experience abroad. So right after graduation, I knew about the V.I.E program as a really good way to kickstart an international career. So this is why I oriented my first job, I would say, research towards this program. And I came to Minnesota particularly because the job opening that I really liked was there. So it is not very like Minnesota specific. It is more like job specific, I would say.
That's fair. I think honesty is important. Thank you.
I think it's kind of the same for me. I hope you hear me well.
Yes.
Tell me if that's okay. Yes. Okay. I just I traveled during my studies, and then I was like, I need more. I was like back home. I had a job. I'm from the Alps, sorry. So I was working there next to my family and my friends, and I was like, I need to see something else. So that's why I was looking for a V.I.E. I was searching absolutely everywhere. Not specifically the US. I don't have the American dream or anything, but turns out to be the best opportunity for me. The most interesting job was here in Minneapolis, and I was kind of scared because when you look at Minneapolis, it's cold weather, and that's the only thing you can find online. But actually, I'm so glad I came here. So yeah, that's for me.
Yeah, on my side, as Astrid, actually, I come from almost the same place as Astrid, so in the Alps, just at the border with Switzerland, next to Geneva. And for me, actually, a few years, when I started my engineering school, I didn't want to go abroad at all after my job. My husband, my boyfriend, who's now my husband at the time, he was like, after your studies, if you want to go abroad, it would be so nice. I want to go explore some new countries. And I was like, no, I don't want to leave France. I'm good in France and everything. And during my engineering studies, so I heard about the V.I.Es, but I was not like really interested in that. And then I had to do a 2-month internship abroad to validate my diploma. And I went working in a startup in Oxford, so UK. And then I came back in France, and I told my boyfriend, like, we need to go abroad after my studies. Like, it was so interesting knowing a new culture, new things, opening my mind to something different, to some like another way to think, and speaking English also. I really enjoy speaking English. So that's why I was looking for something abroad after my studies. And the V.I.E is a way of like starting something abroad, like easily, let's say. It's easier than just having to randomly find a job, like without knowing where you're going, like how it will go. The V.I.E is more like, let's say, I would say it's easier to start. So that's why I've done that. And I wasn't looking for the US at first, because we needed to get married with my husband, like my boyfriend, who became my husband in the end, because if we didn't get married, he couldn't come with me. But turned out that I found the exact mission I was looking for, and it was in the US, so I decided to go. I don't regret my choice at all. Like, that's great. And I wasn't expecting much of Minnesota, actually, because my credo is not, don't expect anything, just discover. And so I already knew Minneapolis from a friend who was V.I.E in Sage Glass, actually, before me. But I didn't, like, I just knew there were some lakes and cold weather in the winter, but there's more than that. There's more than that in Minneapolis and in the US.
Well, that's an excellent motto. Just discover, experience. Yeah. But it's interesting how you're mentioning these VIEs. So as we go forward with your stories, it might be interesting to know how the V.I.E program works. Did you just, how that attracted you? So next in line, please.
I can try to respond to that one. So basically, I can start, maybe try to describe the V.I.E. So basically, the V.I.E in France is a program that that was kind of designed to expand the footprint and encourage companies to export outside France. So it's France and also Europe, if I'm not wrong. I'm not a big specialist, but yeah. So the idea is to facilitate for sometimes small company to send some young professional outside of France to start, or maybe helping a subsidiary outside of France. But it can also work very well with a big company that already have some cooperation and sister company or subsidiaries outside of France, and those young professionals will be included in this team, which is the case of Saint-Gobain and Sage Glass. And usually around the world, is the V.I.E can be from 6 months to 24 months max. But in the US is a little bit different, and I believe it's the only country like this. The maximum period of time that you can spend in the US as a V.I.E is 18 months, and this is related to the visa that you apply here, which is a J1 visa, and maximum period is 18 months. So I think I try to cover everything, but maybe Odile, he's the expert for that. So if I miss something, I'm sure she will be able to add something.
Oh, I think we can wrap that up at the end, but it's great to hear from you. Continue.
Right. So, and basically, for me, the idea of VIE, and maybe that can be interesting for some of attendees that are actually listening right now, is that, so first of all, I am an engineer, so it's more technical, and I was working already in Italy, so abroad, so I had already that experience, but I was trying to maybe reorient myself to something more on sales and business development. And the thing is that since VIE, you can apply only between 18 and 28 years old, I thought that a company will not ask you a huge amount of experience. So I said, well, maybe some company would allow me to start something in sales or business development, even if I don't have a huge experience in that field. So that was basically the main purpose of my VIE search, and then so I was more driven by the project and by the challenge that my company was offering me, and it was the US, so I was completely fine with that. But
yeah, Julian, I think there's a question maybe from our attendees that fits pretty well with what you're talking about, and it's about the criteria for each person, like what was driving your decision with regard to the type of organization or company you want to work for. And this question comes from Ann Paper. She says, many VIEs choose to work for Business France offices, and some are attracted to small and medium sized businesses, and others are looking for large organizations. So I wonder if our panel could talk a little bit about the type of organization that you were attracted to and why.
Yeah, I can leave some of my colleagues speak about that.
Yeah, I can jump on this one maybe. So in my case, as a material science related, we always heard about like Saint-Gobain, which is one of the, I will say, biggest company in France that has a really important R&D, like a lot of R&D jobs and subjects and related to glass and also buildings and everything. So that's like why we are a lot of VIEs there working for Saint-Gobain Sage Glass, is because they have a big company and they are used to do this exchange. And a lot of VIEs before us, like few generations before, like have been in our company Saint-Gobain, and also created before us a kind of a group with American people there. And that's why every year it was like kind of a cycle that like every year new VIEs came and we exchange our, for example, cars, roommates, or everything. We share everything. We share also like the American friends and everything. So that's a really nice thing to have a big company for that. But even if you are in a smaller company, you can just jump in these groups like I don't know, like other VIEs did. So yeah, that was the good point of being in a big company for that.
Agreed. Like this is a big part of why I chose to be within Saint-Gobain. So I've heard of my job opening via an alumni from my school, and I asked a few questions to him about obviously the job, but also what kind of VIE culture the company had, and what I heard from him was really reassuring in that no matter what, you wouldn't be alone, and that was like a big why Saint-Gobain was so attractive that way. But that's not all for me. I knew that I wanted to work in a medium-sized company, and there you'll be like, wait, but Saint-Gobain is huge. Yes, but Sage is not. Meaning that we really have quite a lot of leeway when it comes to Sage and Saint-Gobain. I say that because, for example, I used to work with Safran, and you have a lot of top-down policies, and you feel really steered by what's happening up top, which is not the case for Saint-Gobain. So it's really refreshing, to to work for a company that has its own agenda that way, right? So it, for me, Sage, in the position that I occupy right now, was really attractive because of those two reasons, like the V.I.E network already there, as Johnny said, but also the size of the company and having that bandwidth, you know, within Sage to be independent as far as, you know, working in a medium-sized company within a bigger company, if that makes sense.
Thank you. No, I think that's great. And it's also very nice that we, in a way, have a cross-section of all the different types. You know, we have folks who are, you know, in governmental, more, you know, like the consulate office. We have someone who is really working in an almost entrepreneurial mode. And then folks who are working in larger enterprises that have these kind of pre-existing structures. I'm curious, do most people, were you coming directly from your final year at school and that was where you were really learning about the program, or was there a period where you were working and then came into this? Because I've heard reference, we've heard that, you know, a lot of this was kind of through the grapevine of classmates at school. Is that the way most people kind of became aware of the opportunities?
So on my side, I knew that the V.I.E existed, and I knew I wanted to go to do a V.I.E. So I started looking for a V.I.E like on the beginning of my last year of studies, basically. And the issue was that at this time of on this year, there was like no V.I.E available at all. I think they just hired V.I.E on the year before, and there was no opening for the year I was graduating. And so since I knew I wanted to do a V.I.E and I wanted to go abroad as like soon as possible, let's say, I didn't start a job like with a long-term contract or whatever. I was just looking for a V.I.E. So basically I did small jobs, just like grapes picking and working in a factory as like a packaging operator and selling stuffs for Christmas gifts or something in grocery shops. And so, yeah, I really, really wanted to find a V.I.E, and I just waited for the perfect opportunity and the perfect mission, and jumped in. And then it's great now. So.
We have a question from Zoe Compa, and there's two questions actually from Zoe. And I wonder if somebody wants to ask those questions.
I can try to respond to those one.
Yeah.
So I see that the second one, which is maybe the easiest one, because the first one is a little bit more difficult, and I will explain why. So the second question from it was, how long did it take you to find your V.I.E? So that's a very good question. And actually, I don't know, maybe my colleague can also give some of their experience, but it takes a little bit. It takes, of course, it's a hiring process. So it's like if you apply to finding a job. So, and on top of that, then after being hired, you have, after having the confirmation, you also have all those paperworks with the sponsor and the embassy and stuff. So it takes a little bit of time to find it. And once you found it, you have to do a little bit of work to prepare your departure. So I would say, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it was between 3 and 4 months to find my V.I.E. And then I started to work a couple of months in France to get to know the company and to be prepared then to leave for the US. I don't know if someone would like to add something on top of that.
Yeah, I think it depends on like I said, for me before, it was like a year where there was nothing. And for my experience, like I graduated in August 2018. and I started my VIE in July 2019. And but the hiring process, like I think I applied to the VIE job position, at least for Sage, it worked like this. I applied in the end of January and started in the beginning of July. So like 5 months total of like hiring process, including the including the interviews and everything.
Yeah, I think like, I don't know, finding the VIE for me was actually kind of easy. So in my field, there was like good offers. So I think like between the time that I first submitted like my applications to like 3 different companies and the time like I had interviews and I chose like which one I wanted to go, I think it was like a month, not more. But then the visa process takes a while. The good thing for me is that I needed to have this training period in France. So I actually needed to be in France for a while with my French company. So, I mean, I think I was like hired, then I spent like 3 months training and doing the process of like the visa and everything. And then I was gone. I mean, it was actually, I don't think it was that hard. Having the FICC also like with us, like to help for the visa procedure and everything, it was fine, honestly. So
we have another question from Ann Paper about how, which I think relates, Astrid, to what you were saying. Maybe we can build on that, which is, how did you prepare for your VIE placement, and was your preparation sufficient? Were there surprises at the beginning of your role? And I want to mix it up a little, so I'm going to pick on Louis and Benjamin and Johnny a little, so we can hear from them on their experiences as well, gentlemen, if that's okay. Can one of you guys field this question?
Yeah, so I can go first. I didn't really prepare for that because you know, I had already been in the US before this VI. I did a semester at the University of Illinois and an internship in California. So I already knew, if I can say that, the US, you know, the culture, how things work here. So I was pretty confident for that, even if at the same time, you know, it was pretty scary because like many people, I'm pretty scared of the unknown. So it was scary and pretty attractive at the same time. But on my perspective, things went pretty well. So it's pretty great. So maybe I was lucky, but yeah.
Yeah.
Great,
Yeah, in my
thank you.
side, for example, if I can just say, I just prepared to buy a big coat, and that's about it. Because the rest was just, I knew a year ago that I wanted to go in the US. I was mentally prepared already. I already did like experiences abroad in Ireland for 3 months and in Barcelona, Spain. So yeah, for me, the fact that going in other country was not a big deal. It was more just be prepared of where you're going and everything. So yeah, that was about it for me.
Same for me. I didn't prepare anything before the VIE. I will say I was already aware about a lot of things because I experienced an internship in Canada for 4 months during my second engineering school. So yes, I was mentally prepared that I would have to be adaptable and to face many differences regarding the culture and the people. So no, I didn't prepare anything, but it's good to know that you have to be prepared to be adaptable.
May I interject? I'm curious. I know some of you live together. So what would be your greatest source of support? Do you have this nuclear support of VIEs? Do you branch out into the communities or into your work networks? You know, what has been your biggest source of support here?
Each other.
Yeah, I will say the VIEs.
But also, I mean, that's like, if we had just each other, I think we will like, I mean, that wouldn't be like a true experience. And that's why, like, I mean, we like, most of us like that live with roommates, we also have at least one American roommate. And I mean, they are friends, and, you know, they have like, they teach us many things about like it's like for the culture, for the history of the US, like there's like, it's part of the experience, just be surrounded by Americans and to be with them, living with them. I mean, everything, like, you know, it's like small things, but still, like, we are different. We were raised in a different way, in a different country, and it's like super important to have these exchanges with them. But also, yes, there are supports also, because we arrived and they were here and they were like, oh, that's where you can go for this. That's like what you can do. I mean, I think it's really, there were a support, but also having each other, being kind of lost together in the unknown was really nice.
Well,
Yeah,
we have a
yeah.
lone Chicago resident here. So for Benjamin, could you share with us how you landed in Chicago and at the embassy?
I didn't land here. So as many of people here, I really wanted to work abroad, and especially in the United States after I graduated. And even before, you know, I've always dreamed to work and live in the US. So after I graduated, I looked for a job like in the US, and this is really difficult to find a job here. I mean, with a local contract, when you're young, unexperimented, when you didn't graduate from a US university, and moreover, when you're overseas. So the best option was like the VI program, VIE or V.I.E, sorry. So I looked at the different VIs available in the United States that matched my skills and my desires. So firstly, I applied to two VIEs in the wine industry because that's what I wanted to do. So I did the interviews. They were very satisfied, but at the same time, the Trump administration implemented the tariffs on French wine imports, which had a terrible impact on the sector, and my VIs were canceled. So then I found and applied to this VIA in Chicago for the French embassy and got hired. So here I am, you know, immersed into the diplomatic world. And I always wanted to find out what goes on like behind the scenes in like the diplomacy, in the diplomatic world, because usually you don't know how it goes. And I was attracted by like the government aspect, you know, working for my country, meeting VIPs, if I may. And I had a fancy idea of this word. So yeah, this is great actually. So I like that, and that's it.
Thank you.
I can just jump in, and maybe because I see there are more questions, and maybe two of them are kind of similar, is about the end of the VIE and what to do next, and if we can stay in the US, and I can try to maybe give some response about that. So the first thing is that when you apply to come in the US, you have to have a sponsor, and there are basically three different sponsors, and one of them is the French American Chamber of Commerce, which we are all sponsored by this one. So, and when you apply with the French American Chamber of Commerce, and I believe it's exactly the same thing with the two other one, you sign an agreement that says that technically you are not allowed to, I mean, you have to leave the US at the end of your experience. The reason why behind that is, so here you are considered, and also your visa, it's the main purpose of your visa, it's a training. So you are not a fully time employed, and it's a training. You have supervisor that supervise you, that help you, that give you advice, give you insights, and you're here to learn basically. So but it's and the main difference, as in France, like a stage, a training, here it's paid, and it is public, so you can know how much we earn here. So that's the thing. So at the end of our experience, we are not allowed to stay. We have to leave the country for at least a period of time of 1 year, if I'm not wrong. And then, of course, having such an experience here in the US, and especially in Minneapolis, if you would like to return to the US after that, I think it might help in your resume to say that you already spent many months in the US.
I think that was a great synthesizing of those 2 or 3 questions and comments. That was great. I will also personally say that the probability of your returning to Minnesota later increases exponentially if you fall in love with someone from Minnesota, which is what happened to me. I think we had talked in preparation for this call about sharing some, I guess, fond memories or unique experiences. And people were invited, although not required, to share an image or 2 if that's something they have. Is that possible, or do we not have? Did some people prepare an image? Because we're more than 2/3 of the way through, and we only have about 15 minutes left. So, if there are no objections, I think it would be wonderful to share just some of this personal experience, and then we can follow up, of course, with technical questions after the discussion. With anybody who's interested to ask more questions, we can provide some information too on how to get in touch. So who would like to start off with an image or a memory of their experience that they could share with our attendees?
I can go ahead. I am going to share my screen, and I'm going to share something that I'm very fond of. Can you see it? Like a photo of the house and everything. So my experience here in Minnesota has been marked by the fact that I've helped my good friend and roommate Carrie buy a house. So that was quite an adventure, especially during COVID. And I just wanted to say that it has been really, really fun, seeing all the houses. Also without having the stress of making everything work financially, so I had all the good sides of house hunting and none of the bad sides, right? And so she finally bought a house here in Minneapolis, and we've been living together. And that's been really great. We are, and that's pretty funny because everybody in the neighborhood thought we were a couple, but we're not. But that's been really fun. Quite an adventure, something that reinforced our bonds immensely. And it has just been great, on top of the professional opportunities, on top of getting to hang out with the V.I.Es here in Minneapolis, also having, my own little friend group here and accompanying them in such a major life milestone. This has been absolutely great. And and I'm just glad I was here for her. So, you know, on top of professional experiences, like V.I.E also provides opportunities to experience life experiences that way.
Thank you. That is great. Is that a bow? Is that like a bow, a gift wrap bow on the door? That's great.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you,
correct. How do I relinquish screen sharing? I'm not familiar.
If the next person just goes ahead and tries
Yeah,
to
I can share my screen.
chat, they can do it.
Yep. It's been very, wait. Yeah, it's been very hard to choose a picture for me because I've got so many, like, so many memories. Something I will show you. Wait, I need to find it. I will share several pictures actually. So
You're cheating.
So, yeah, something like one of the biggest American thing I've experienced here was my husband buying an old police car. So if you look at this car, that's my husband's car actually. So it's known as the not a cop car. Don't know. Do you see my screen? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, it's known as the not a cop car in Minneapolis, and a lot of people know the car actually. So that's really fun, and it's something you wouldn't find in France or in Europe. And this picture is also interesting because, like most of you should know, must know, is we've had all the protests and the riots because of with George Floyd case. And recently, there's been some protests again, and the military are all in the city. So you can see like the big military truck that is basically in the center of the city. But something I really liked, and that is specific to Minneapolis or to Minnesota, not specific, but is like the frozen lake during the summer, the winter. So basically, Minnesota is the state of the 10,000 lake, right? So during winter, when it's very cold, all the lakes are frozen and full of snow and ice. And so basically the surface area of the state doubles, and you can go walk on the lake on your Sunday afternoon. It's always sunny, and you can jump in the snow like this in the lake. So that was great. It's something I won't find when I go back in France, which I plan to do.
I never thought of, I just have to comment, of doubling the surface area. That's brilliant. Okay.
So that's it for me.
Who would like to go next? Camille, those were very interesting images. I love those. Okay, who is next?
I can share my screen. Let's see. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I think it's a little bit like Camille. She touched a point that I'm very sensitive, is maybe nature, and maybe for me one of the big thing here in Minnesota is that, okay, you have one big city, which is Minneapolis, and well known, but you also have such an amount of nature, lake, forest, trails and stuff. And that's one thing that I really loved about that region, is that, of course, in the very north of Minnesota, you have Canada, you also have one of the Great Lakes. So this picture was in summer 2020, so I decided to spend a week walking into that forest and sleeping every single night on campsite, just with my tent, and it was great. It was great, and I really appreciate being in a region which is not only what we think about US, like Times Square and technology and stuff, but in the US you also have a lot of nature and great thing to discover. So just wanted to share that one.
That's beautiful. Is that the Superior hiking trail?
Right, yes.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great spot. I would like to encourage people to share, but since we are running a little short on time, if you can condense your comment so that everybody has a chance who wants to share.
I can share really quickly. Okay. You're seeing all my screen. Okay. Can you see? Perfect. So it was really hard to pick a picture, so I chose this one because I think it sums up pretty much the situation that Minnesota welcomes us. So in this picture, we see some of the people here today, actually just Camille.
I almost chose this one too.
Okay. But that's also like, I mean, I think here, like, that's my family here in Minnesota, plus other people, but like, we're not always all together because that would be too much. But that's, I think, the main thing. Like, we've been like doing like so many work trips, like going, like trying to discover as much of the US as possible. But at the end, like, Minnesota was our home, and those people were like, as we talked before, like our support and like the people we did everything with. So yeah, I'm gonna leave like the screen for other people. That is what I wanted to share with you.
Thank you. That's wonderful.
Johnny, Louis, Benjamin, a quick takeaway and something that's so special. Oh, awesome. Now you have to unmute so you can explain this.
Sorry. So here is my roommates for Christmas. So my American roommates, number 3, as you can see, and Louis, which is with me. So it was a really great experience for that, to sharing this entire year with them. It was really nice and a really great experience. We shared a lot of things together. We traveled a lot. We see, as Julien said, a lot of exploring a lot of beautiful landscapes and beautiful areas in Minnesota. And you have the lakes, you have the cabins in the north, in the middle of nowhere. You can just jump out of a sauna and just have a minus 20 degrees Celsius outside. So that's the only place where you can have this kind of experience too. So yeah, that's just what I wanted to share.
Thank you.
It sounds like you found some surprises in Minnesota. Minnesota may have surprised you on its beauty and its professional atmosphere. Smiles abound here.
We're getting close to the end. If anybody else would like to share an image, or are we good? Do we? Okay, great.
Yes, I can share my screen. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Now? Can you see the picture?
I'm frozen in a very awkward position. So you.
So I'm gonna try to reshare my screen really quick. It doesn't. Okay.
There. Oh.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
So as people are used to say, is everything is bigger in the US, trucks, houses, and in the high hail too. So this picture means a lot to me, because that was during our first trip in the Badlands. So long short story, we were traveling with a friend group composed of half American friends and half French friends. And it was a beautiful sunny day and the weather changed really fast. And we got this huge hailstorm on the way back when we were hiking. And that was an incredible moment. Kind of freaky because we thought we were gonna die, but we enjoy a lot this experience, and that was my first travel in the US in the Badlands, and that was beautiful and awesome memories. So I wanted to share that with you.
Thank you. Those are pretty big hailstones.
Yeah.
Going to the Badlands, it's quite spectacular. So good for you for.
There's no trees to hide under out there.
Well, it sounds like we're going to have some wonderful promoters of the V.I.E program. We encourage you all to talk it up big, send more people like yourself here to Minnesota. And it looks like Odile is back on to conclude.
I just really want to thank you all for sharing your experience with us today. This is absolutely precious, and I loved all the pictures, and I think there is much more to share. So it's really great that this community does exist, and you have ways through various medias, to facilitate the welcoming other VIEs to Minnesota. So if you are a young graduate or a young professional wishing to come to the US to further your professional training, or if you are a company wishing to host a VIE and enrich the experience of your local team, contact us, info@faccmn.com. For the latest updates on the J1 visa, also go to the FACC New York website. There is a great page that is updated regularly, News Exchange Visitor FAQs. If you are a member in the audience and would like to co-host a morning virtual coffee and discussion with us, please contact us as well and use info@faccmn.com or call us. On May 7th, we'd like to invite you all to meet Axonote. Axonote is a French startup company and a business member of the FACCMN who will co-host another virtual coffee and discussion with us. Thank you all for the privilege of your time, and we are looking forward to seeing you soon again. Have a wonderful weekend. Thank you. Merci beaucoup. Merci à tous et merci à tous les participants.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Have
Bye-bye.
a nice day.